Hey, it's Scott once again, and today I want to talk about a couple of comments I heard a couple of coaches make over the weekend. This is the Final Four weekend. Actually, today I'm filming this on Monday. National championship for the men's college basketball, Division I college basketball tournament is tonight. Last night was the women's championship, and the day before that was the men's Final Four. And I heard a comment by a coach at the men's Final Four and a comment by a women's coach last night that I want to zero in on, and that's a couple of comments about how late in each of their games, the effect that the one major play that occurred, while that had a major effect, it's just one of many plays. Starting with the men's Final Four on Saturday, Bruce Pearl, the coach for Auburn, speaking after the game, very controversial no call and call late in the game that really, had an impact on the outcome of the game and led to Virginia, helped lead to Virginia winning. But even what I just said is a great point. Those calls did not lead to Virginia winning. They helped to lead to Virginia winning. Because what Bruce Pearl said afterward is, we can't bring this all down to just one play. One foul on a player, one no call by a referee. There's so many plays that occur during the course of a game. For us to just boil this down to one play or two plays, that's unfair to both the player who fouled, the referees who made the mistake, whatever it might be. And so I loved his comments, not just to get his kid off the hook, because I don't think that's necessarily what he was doing, but he was trying to help his kid who made the foul late to try and get him to understand and get all of us to understand. That's just one play. It gets so scrutinized because it's right at the end of the game and it's a tight game. We talk about who hits the game-winning shot or the walk-off home run or whatever it might be. There's so many things that go on that lead up to that to ever put them into that kind of position. And so I loved his comments that night afterward. A tough moment for him, and he just stepped up and said the right thing. Then last night in the women's national championship, between Notre Dame and Baylor, Baylor ends up winning the game. And Notre Dame, their star player, Arike Ogunbowale, I think I said that right. She had 31 points last night. Last year, she was the star, quote-unquote star, who hit game winners and things like that, though late in the game. But it, again, was stellar all turning long, all game long. Last night is put into a moment late, just with a second or two to go, in which she has two free throws to tie the game, misses the first one. And so now she's got to try to miss the second one in order to hopefully get a rebound and then get a putback and send the game into overtime or win it with a three. She makes the second free throw. And so they're down one. Now Baylor, they just have to get the ball in, or actually it just got tipped and went out of bounds, and that was the end of the game. That's how close it was. And Ogunbowale's coach, Muffet McGraw, was so outstanding at the podium afterward by saying, look, we're going to focus on that one play, but to focus on that one play is totally unfair. You've got so many plays during the course of a game that led up to that moment. And think about it. Without her 31 points, it's a moot point. You wouldn't even have been in that position. And so we zero in. We have a tendency, especially as fans, to zero in on what happens late and especially right at the end of the game. My gosh, you could go to Duke on the last week and what happened with them with Michigan State, and then their earlier games against UCF and against Virginia Tech. How tight, miss shot, miss this. I mean, it happens all the time. But we as coaches, it's critical that we step up and make sure that we say the right thing and make sure that our kids understand that was one play out of the hundreds of plays that went on during that game that put us into that moment. And so recognize that anything could have gone differently throughout the course of the game. It's not that one play that quote unquote matters most. It's just that it's so scrutinized because it happens right at the end. So coaches, be there to stand up for your kids, be there to make sure that they understand as best they can, because those kids are going to be hurting for some maybe for the rest of their lives knowing what happened. That's a huge stage that they're on. That's going to be a tough thing for them to deal with. We need to help them get through and get them to realize, hey, that's part of life. That's part of the game itself. And we can't focus on just that one. Had we not had numerous other plays or taken care of things differently, we wouldn't even have had to been in that situation. So I love that message. Let's make sure we're going out and sending that message to our kids. And we'll talk to you again next time.